On this Shabbat, I share with you just a little bit of Torah. The first piece of Torah is actually from our Torah portion, and tomorrow morning we'll have an opportunity for Garrison to read to us from Torah and share some of his wisdom with us. And he is going to be reading about the story of Abraham arguing about Sodom and Gomorrah. But the first part of the Torah portion is a powerful one, and it is an incredibly challenging one in this day and age. We are sitting here in a sanctuary with a locked door and security outside, and yet what is the first part of our Torah portion? Vayera. Abraham is sitting at his tent. He's actually sitting outside of his tent. The flaps of his tent are open. He is sitting outside, looking out, waiting for strangers to come past his tent so he can rush out to greet them. And of course, these strangers that he happens to greet in our Torah in this moment are not just our folks that he is greeting, but Vayera Avraham, he lifts up his eyes, and who does he see? He sees the divine. He sees God coming towards him, and he rushes out to meet these three strangers and greet them, and they are bringing those words. They are bringing word that Sarah will eventually have a baby, and that baby will be Isaac, and from Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob had Joseph, and Dor Vador, until here we are as the community of Israel. It is challenging, of course, because what is happening in Israel, there was Israel with doors open, and we saw what destruction was wrought. And we see throughout our country and throughout our world, unfortunately, there is that threat that is all around us, and we are wrestling with how to respond. As I stand here and I say that challenge, how powerful and how beautiful it was that I received a bit of Torah, a bit of Devar Torah from one of our community partner, Rabbi Mira Hovav at Ramat Shalom congregation in Beersheba. And this is something they are sharing in their congregation this very week. And so here we are getting to have that connection across time and space. If you are not familiar with Rabbi Hovav, she has visited us. We have visited her communities a couple of different times. And there is on our Temple YouTube channel, if you go to YouTube and you search Temple Beth Shalom of Vero Beach, don't just search Temple Beth Shalom. There's a lot of Temple Beth Shaloms out there, but Temple Beth Shalom of Vero Beach, and you can actually see what she shared with us a couple of weeks ago. So what did she share with us? And she shared this was in memory of someone who was killed in the attack, who lived near Gaza, and yet he embodied this very value. She wrote, "This week we are reading the fourth portion of the book of Genesis, Vayera. In the beginning of this portion, we read about Abraham's hospitality. Abraham sits outside his tent and he sees three men in the distance. He does not know that these special messengers are about to deliver good news to him and Sarah. And yet, he goes out of his way to host them cordially. He invites them in. He offers them cold water to freshen up. Together with Sarah, makes sure to serve them the best food that they can prepare. Ever since, Abraham has become a paragon of Hachnasat Orchim, hospitality, which is considered to be a very important mitzvah in Jewish tradition. During these challenging and unprecedented times," she writes, "we can find some comfort when we see wonderful and generous Hachnasat Orchim around us. People are opening their homes to thousands of Israelis who are evacuated from their homes, trying to give them a home away from home. Enormous amounts of delicious homemade foods are cooked and delivered to mourning families, soldiers, and injured patients in hospitals. I think we can all be encouraged by the resilience the Israelis are showing. This is also a good opportunity to thank Kehillah volunteers who helped us open our Merchav." So she's thanking the volunteers of her congregation. They actually serve, their congregation meets in a community center, and realized that their schools closed at Yom Kippur, and they closed all the way through Sukkot, and they were closed through Sukkot, and this happened the day after Sukkot. So their schools are still closed in Beersheba. And she thanks the Kihila volunteers of their community who came and opened their centers so that parents and children who have been out of school since Yom Kippur have a place to go. And other volunteers who are leading various activities in homes for people with special need who are right now out of work and are experiencing a lot of anxiety and frustration. And so there it is, that challenge to us, even in these challenging times, even in these trying times, even as we are so conscious of our security and worried about our world, even as we are very aware and conscious when we do need to stand up for ourselves, can we also find those threads of Hachnasat Orchim, those threads of welcoming the guest and welcoming the stranger? Can we find those threads of reaching out to someone who is in need and offering that little bit of kindness? How many of you have told me in these last few weeks that you feel that weight of what is going on in the world, that you feel the crush and the fear and the worry around you? How better to face that than to open up ourselves, to share some sweetness, to share some light, to share those hugs, to share that chen and chesed and rachamim, kindness and grace and compassion. That is how we bring our light into the world. If that's what they're doing in Israel in the face of all of that, is Abraham in that way where he is a stranger in a strange land, in the midst of his own pain and fear and worry, can open his tent like that? Let us, in our day and age, in this moment, find our moments, our times, our opportunities to reach out and bring people into the circle of our caring community. As Rabbi Hovav says, Yesher Koach, may we find strength. Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. If we can find that kind of strength and do those kinds of actions, maybe, just maybe, we will build a world of shalom. Not just the absence of war, but real wholeness and real harmony and real peace. Amen? Shabbat shalom.